Boruto Chapter 79 gave us one of the biggest and craziest moments in this series, with Eida swapping Boruto and Kawaki's places in life using her ability known as omnipotence. Kawaki has now become Kawaki Uzumaki, the son of Naruto who was born and raised in the Leaf Village, while Boruto is just Boruto, an outsider who Naruto took in but Boruto just killed him anyway. That's how the Leaf Village sees Boruto and Kawaki now. And since everyone was turning on Kawaki for what he did to Naruto and Boruto, they're all turning on Boruto now because of this role reversal. And given that Momoshiki teased Boruto and asked him, "How does it feel to lose everything?" people have understandably assumed that this is the big moment Momoshiki has been hyping up all this time, and that the blue eyes from Momoshiki's prophecy were actually Eida's Senrigan eyes all along. However, I need you to pump the brakes for a little bit because there are some major details you might be overlooking. And truthfully, the events of Chapter 79 might be a misdirection, a distraction from the darker events that are soon to come, and so I'll explain what we know about Momoshiki's prophecy and what is yet to come from it. At the moment, there are two ways we can interpret Momoshiki's prophecy. The first is that he was talking about Eida's blue eyes the whole time, and the second is that he really did mean Boruto's blue eyes, and I'll explain why both could be the case. Starting with Eida, it's pretty simple. After Momoshiki let Kawaki escape in Chapter 78, he said that this was just the beginning and that the end has already begun. And then at the beginning of Chapter 79 he said, "I told you, it's already started." And then after Eida used omnipotence to reverse Boruto and Kawaki's positions in life, Momoshiki said, "Hey boy, I'm curious. How does it feel to lose everything?" This pretty heavily implies that Boruto just lost everything or that he is in the process of losing everything as we speak. Considering that it was Eida's ability that caused this, it's fairly natural to assume that Eida is who Momoshiki was talking about all along. It's very simple and it makes sense. However, like I said, there are some things being overlooked here that you need to keep in mind. When Momoshiki let Kawaki escape in Chapter 78, a common theory was that Momoshiki did this to ensure that Boruto would go on to lose everything, as Momoshiki foresaw in Boruto's prophecy. I said this myself back in my Chapter 78 review because that's the vibe Momoshiki gave off when he finished up the chapter by saying that Boruto would lose everything in very short order, and that it can no longer be stopped and that the end has already begun. This heavily implied that Momoshiki knew what was about to happen with Eida in the next chapter, and that's why he let Kawaki escape. But this should strike you as a little bit odd, because in Chapter 67, Momoshiki said, "And why that shall come to pass, even I cannot see. But it'll be soon, the time draws near. It shall be a true spectacle, lad." In Chapter 67, Momoshiki says he doesn't know why this spectacle happens. He just knows it does happen and that it's pretty crazy. But in Chapter 78 and 79, it seems like Momoshiki knew exactly what was about to happen and when it would happen. These implications are at odds with each other, and it leads us to two possible conclusions. Either Momoshiki finally realized whose blue eyes he foresaw and how Boruto was going to lose everything when he figured out the true identity of Eida's love charm ability in Chapter 76. So by Chapter 78 he finally knew what was going to happen and why, and he wanted to let things run their course. And he didn't tell Boruto the identity of Eida's power because it was directly linked to his prophecy, which Momoshiki wanted to let happen. Or Eida's rewriting of everyone's memories and making the whole village hate Boruto isn't the true spectacle Momoshiki was talking about, and that's still yet to come, and this is really just like the setup for that big event. Either of these two options can work, but they change the meaning of whose blue eyes Momoshiki was referring to in his prophecy. If this is the spectacle Momoshiki was referring to all along, then he meant Eida's blue eyes the whole time, and he just figured out the smaller details as the story progressed. If the spectacle is yet to come, then that spectacle can still involve Boruto taking everything away from himself and still be Boruto's blue eyes. Like I said though, that first option with Eida is simple and makes sense at face value, but there's a lot of weird things about it. First of all, Momoshiki obviously saw somebody's blue eyes taking everything away from Boruto. I think we can all agree on that, or else I don't see why he'd have even known that somebody's blue eyes were involved in the first place. There's a certain amount of Boruto's future that Momoshiki had to have seen in order for everything to make sense. Furthermore, Momoshiki said in chapter 76 that, even if in fragments, it seems Boruto was able to see the same tableau that Momoshiki saw, meaning that Boruto essentially saw fragments of the event Momoshiki saw. Now, based on that future vision from chapter 75 and the events we see here in chapter 79, those events were not in perfect order, as the Horn Kama Kawaki and Team Shikadai parts haven't happened yet, while the Leaf Ninja, Sarada, and Mitsuki parts have happened. And more importantly, one of those scenes actually happens before Eida uses omnipotence. That scene where the Leaf villagers say, "You find him? He couldn't have gone very far yet. Don't let him escape," happens before Eida even finds Kawaki, and very clearly happens before Eida uses omnipotence. Meanwhile, Mitsuki being mad at Boruto happens after Eida uses omnipotence. This means that Boruto saw some scenes that occur both before and after Eida uses her ability. And since Boruto only saw fragments of what Momoshiki saw, this means that Momoshiki also very clearly saw events both before and after Eida uses omnipotence, and he also saw something involved with somebody's blue eyes taking everything away from Boruto, and an unknown amount more. Now, all of these visions Momoshiki saw seem to be things Boruto himself will see with his own eyes in the future or has already seen in the past and present, like the ones from chapter 75 for example. With that in mind, Boruto didn't actually see that Eida and Kawaki were in the sky activating that jutsu. All he saw was the flash of light surrounding them. That's why he didn't know it was Eida when Momoshiki told him. That's why he's confused that it was Eida who did it. And the same goes for everyone else. Only Momoshiki knew it was Eida who did it because he knew she had the Shinjutsu, omnipotence, and what was going to happen later in Boruto's future, and understood that this jutsu would cause it to happen. However, if Momoshiki only saw visions that Boruto himself would see in the future, then Momoshiki couldn't have actually seen Eida and Kawaki inside that flash of light, because Boruto himself didn't see them inside it. He only saw the light itself. This means that whatever scenes with blue eyes Momoshiki saw were separate from when Eida uses omnipotence. That alone is already a major red flag. Momoshiki gives off the impression that he saw somebody's blue eyes actively take everything from Boruto. Not that he saw the blue eyes by themselves and just assumed those were the eyes that would eventually take everything from Boruto. It feels like he actually saw them in action. Whether someone literally activated a jutsu with their blue eyes, or somebody did something and they just happened to have blue eyes. So if Momoshiki could only see visions that Boruto himself would see with his own eyes, then he literally couldn't have seen Eida's eyes at the time she used omnipotence. Which right there makes it seem like this wasn't the true spectacle he was talking about in chapter 67. And even if you think Momoshiki didn't see the blue eyes in action, but instead just put the pieces together and assumed they were involved, it's still weird. Outside of when she used omnipotence, Eida's eyes are always those blue Senrigan eyes with the blue crescent moon pupils. So if Momoshiki saw Eida's blue eyes, the flash of light that makes the crescent moon like the Senrigan when she uses omnipotence, and the events before and after that flash of light showing the change in everyone's behavior, why the hell did he not know why this event happens in chapter 67? What is there not to know? It would be right in his vision. Eida would have clearly used the jutsu that took everything from Boruto. So now let's say that flash of light wasn't part of the visions, and all Momoshiki saw were the events before and after Eida used omnipotence, and then he saw a super zoomed in image of only blue eyes and nothing else so that he wouldn't know exactly what's going on. That would be pretty goofy, and I doubt that's the case, but even if it was the case, unless Momoshiki is just stupid, he still should have known why this event happens rather than it being a mystery like he said in chapter 67. I mean, think about it. He sees people looking for Kawaki, then he sees some mysterious blue eyes do something, and then all of a sudden everyone hates Boruto now. Gee whiz, I wonder why that happened. Never would have guessed it was the blue eyes from the prophecy Momoshiki talked about a million times by now. Even if he didn't know it was caused by the specific Shinjutsu known as omnipotence that Eida possessed, he'd still know that it was an ability activated by somebody's blue eyes, the Senrigan eyes in particular, which is not nearly as mysterious or spectacular as he made it sound. If all Momoshiki saw was the villagers turn on Boruto, I could see why Momoshiki didn't know why this would happen, but then I don't see where the blue eyes would come in with the prophecy. So he obviously had to have seen more than just that. But the moment he sees Eida's blue eyes take everything from Boruto, it removes that mystery of why this event happens. Either way, something is off here. Furthermore, when Eida used omnipotence, the Senrigan moon symbol in her eyes actually disappeared, seemingly manifesting around the earth instead, and she didn't have the blue sclera in her eyes like she normally does when she uses her Senrigan. Meaning her eyes were either just a pure blue with no pupils, or just plain white like in the manga. We can't say for sure what color they were because Eida has blue irises and pupils in the manga covers and in the anime, but in the manga itself Ikemoto just leaves them white. But he does darken the sclera and pupils whenever she actively uses her Senrigan, which the anime does too. Either way though, it either means Momoshiki saw some unique blue eyes that nobody else has, including Boruto, whose regular eyes have pupils like everyone else, and his Jogan has a black sclera in the anime, and the godlike figure in chapter 55 also had a black sclera. Boruto's eye in chapter 1 also has some details that Eida's eyes didn't have, and the Jogan isn't even really all that blue anyway, and Boruto also only has one Jogan, not two Jogan eyes, and it hasn't even been brought up in the manga yet either. So it would be pretty easy for Momoshiki to see that it wasn't Boruto who activated that ability. Or alternatively, if Eida's eyes actually turned white like how they appear in the chapter, then they wouldn't even be blue eyes anymore, so that would clearly mean it wasn't Eida's eyes that Momoshiki referred to in his prophecy. So unless Momoshiki is a complete idiot, it would be pretty easy for him to figure out that somebody else activated a jutsu to make Boruto lose everything. Even if all he saw was what Boruto saw plus some blue eyes doing something, it would be pretty obvious. And yet Momoshiki said he doesn't know why that will come to pass. I find that rather odd. I also find it odd that he'd know the blue eyes took everything from Boruto if he didn't even see the blue eyes actively taking everything from Boruto, because Boruto himself couldn't see it because there was this giant flash of light in the way. And I also find it odd that Momoshiki would be able to see visions of Boruto's future that Boruto himself couldn't even see in order to see Eida inside that flash of light using the Shinjutsu omnipotence. It all seems weird. Furthermore, I also find it very strange how Momoshiki felt the need to remind Boruto that he has blue eyes if his prophecy wasn't even about Boruto's blue eyes and he was aware of that the whole time. Like, why did he call Boruto his dear blue-eyed boy after killing Boro in chapter 43? Why did he tell Boruto that he lost one blue eye after he got the scar in chapter 78? Why did they have Sarada talk about how Boruto's eyes were bluer than Lord Seven's? You could definitely argue from a writing standpoint that it was meant to be a misdirection, but from Momoshiki's perspective, it doesn't really make sense. Boruto had absolutely no idea what Momoshiki was talking about the entire time. Telling Boruto that he has blue eyes didn't trick Boruto into thinking Boruto himself was gonna do something, when it was actually Eida who would do it instead. Boruto was way too focused on the losing everything part of the prophecy, not the blue eyes part. So all he wanted to know was what Momoshiki was talking about and what was going to happen. So this just wouldn't make much sense on Momoshiki's part to try and trick Boruto, as it didn't really accomplish anything. To me, it seems more like Momoshiki just wanted to tease Boruto about the fact that his blue eyes were gonna one day take everything from him, not to trick him into thinking that. If anything, Eida's omnipotence jutsu might be the misdirection that makes us think it was Eida's blue eyes all along, when in reality, it's still Boruto's blue eyes that Momoshiki was talking about the whole time. On top of all that, there's still a big piece missing from all this, and that's the moment that Boruto breaks down into despair and loses his will to live, where Momoshiki will then take over Boruto's body. In chapter 72, Momoshiki explained that Boruto was going to lose everything very soon, and that he would despair and lose his will to live, enough to want to escape this world. However, here in chapter 79, Momoshiki made it sound like Boruto has already lost everything, or is in the process of currently losing everything, but yet Boruto has shown no signs of losing his will to live. So something else clearly has to happen in order to make Boruto fall into despair like that, which in my opinion should be that true spectacle Momoshiki hyped up in chapter 67. the thing he knew was gonna happen but didn't know why it would happen. So what exactly would this mean for the story? It means that Boruto losing everything is currently happening now, but it has not finished happening. It's an ongoing process that is started but not yet completed. Essentially, it means that Boruto will do something that seals the deal, and officially makes him lose everything. That's the true spectacle. I'm going to make various videos more thoroughly breaking down the rest of the topics in this video here, but there are various clues lying around that can help people like Sasuke figure out the truth about what happened with Naruto and what Eida did to Boruto and Kawaki. This would give Boruto a chance to redeem himself and put Kawaki back into the spotlight as the bad guy in the eyes of the Leaf Village. If this happened, and Sasuke was the brains behind Boruto's redemption, this would make Sasuke a target for Eida and Kawaki. And like I've said probably a million times by now, Sasuke has a ton of death flags, and
it's about damn time!
I make that video already.
I've been waiting, Hashirama!
And I've also said plenty of times that Boruto might end up killing Sasuke indirectly because of Eida. Like I said in my Chapter 79 review, if Boruto kills Sasuke and the Leaf Village is there to see it, that's gonna look extra bad on Boruto's part. His chance of redemption is gonna be lost because the village already thinks Boruto killed Naruto, so if they see Boruto kill Sasuke, they're gonna stop believing anything Boruto and Sarada have to say and go back to siding with Kawaki and turning on Boruto. Now Boruto has almost no chance of redemption, and thus his blue eyes would have sealed the deal and officially taken everything from him. In addition, when Kawaki decided he needed to kill Boruto because of Momoshiki, and actually went for the kill and made a giant hole in Boruto's chest in Chapter 66, Boruto asked if this is what Momoshiki meant by Boruto losing everything, where Momoshiki answered that by saying, "No, this has nothing on that, and why that shall come to pass, even I cannot see. It shall be a true spectacle, lad," and blah blah blah. Momoshiki's response here makes it sound like this true spectacle is going to be way different and way more spectacular than Kawaki killing Boruto. So I don't know about you, but I really don't feel like Kawaki turning on Boruto again by having the rest of the Leaf Village join him this time is so much more dramatically crazy than Kawaki stabbing Boruto in the chest the first time. It's the exact same thing, just more extreme because the village hates Boruto now too. And even then, Kawaki hasn't even actually killed Boruto again with the help of the village this time, whereas he actually succeeded in landing the blow the first time. So I feel like saying the moment in Chapter 66 had nothing on this would be a bit of an over-exaggeration, which could be the case, but it's not very satisfying in my opinion. And like I said, Momoshiki should have had a baseline understanding of why everyone turned on Boruto based on the vision he saw, so I still don't see why he had no idea why this spectacle would happen if this is all he had in mind. On the other hand, if Boruto had to kill Sasuke, regardless of the reason why, that's something that is worthy of being a true spectacle. Kawaki killing Boruto really does have nothing on that. It's something Momoshiki really wouldn't know the reasoning behind, and it's something that really would make Boruto despair, because he'd be killing his damn master who he loves and views as his uncle, and it could also seal the deal with the village hating Boruto, and really cement the fact that he's lost everything. Especially if Sasuke was one of the only people on Boruto's side in defending him. I mean, you tell me what sounds more like a true spectacle that would make Boruto fall into despair and lose his will to live. The Leaf Village turning on Boruto because of Eida's jutsu, or the village turning on Boruto because Boruto killed Sasuke in front of their eyes because of and in addition to the effects of Eida's jutsu. Seems like an easy answer to me. So all of this isn't to say that Eida isn't involved in Boruto's prophecy to lose everything. That's obviously not the case, and I've always said from the beginning that if Boruto kills Sasuke, I think Eida will be the underlying reason for why that happens. The point here is just that we should pump the brakes on assuming that Momoshiki was talking about Eida's blue eyes all along, and that this is the extent of Boruto losing everything. As things very likely will get worse for Boruto, and the darkest moment of his prophecy has likely yet to come. That event being the true spectacle in the moment when Boruto's blue eyes truly take everything from him. Boruto has already started losing everything, but he hasn't finished losing everything yet, and I think he's going to be the one to finish that process. But I want to hear what you guys think. After hearing me break everything down, do you think the true spectacle Momoshiki mentioned was when Eida used the Shinjutsu Omnipotence in Chapter 79? Or do you think the spectacle is something that's coming very soon because of Eida's jutsu, but has not happened quite yet? And second, do you think Momoshiki was truly talking about Eida's blue eyes in her Omnipotence Shinjutsu in Boruto's prophecy? Or do you think he means Boruto's blue eyes and the darkest moment of his prophecy is yet to come? And if you think it is Boruto's blue eyes and the spectacle hasn't happened yet, do you think that spectacle is going to be Boruto killing Sasuke, or do you think it'll be something else? Let me know in the comment section below, but that's a wrap on today's video, so thank you guys for watching until the end. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, like the video, become a member, and hit the bell icon for notifications. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.